Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? A while back I did an episode on the Dollar Tree's $1 ribeye steak, and that didn't turn out so well. To be honest, they were gross. So things really couldn't get much worse than the ribeyes, right? Or could they? So today I'm trying Dollar Tree's $1 bone-in pork loin chops. So let's get started. So here's the $1 bone-in pork loin chops, made by Stampede. And you can immediately see the words, contains up to an 18% solution. And the label says 5 ounces. So if I did my math correctly, which I may not have, it comes out to be almost an ounce of solution per pork chop. So you're really only getting 4-ounce pork chops. This is very common practice with commercial meats, not just these cheap frozen ones. The vast majority of poultry and pork sold in grocery stores are all enhanced with the solution. It's not only to add to their bottom lines, but it also allows the paranoid public to overcook their meats to higher than necessary recommended standards and still remain moist. But that's a subject for another video. Like we always do, let's go over the nutrition information before we open them up. The calories, fat, and cholesterol are all the same as they would be in a fresh, unenhanced pork loin chop. But then we get down to the sodium. A 4-ounce fresh, unenhanced pork chop will have 60 milligrams of sodium. This one, 320 milligrams. So when I flip the package over, they actually look like decent pork chops with a nice layer of fat. And like you've heard me say a million times before, fat equals flavor. If you'd rather have low-fat, boring and bland meat, you'd be better off eating a tofu burger. The package said to keep frozen, with no other cooking instructions listed on the package. I don't know if that meant to keep them frozen until you're ready to cook them and then thaw them out, or to cook them from a frozen state. I remember the dollar ribeyes fell completely apart once thawed. Doesn't that look delicious? So I thawed out one of the 3 pork chops and was very surprised. It's a real piece of meat, unlike the glued together ribeyes. I'm having too much fun playing with this piece of meat. I better stop before people start talking. And I kept the other 2 chops frozen. I'm going to pan fry the thawed out pork chop over medium-high heat for 2.5 to 3 minutes per side. I'm only going to season it with black pepper since there's already more than enough salt in it. And almost immediately, all that added solution is coming right out. Look at all of it. Now after about 2.5 minutes, give it a flip. And as expected, with all that moisture added, it's not going to brown very well. Season again with black pepper, and let it go for 2.5 to 3 more minutes. Now just wipe out the pan. Now let's cook a pork chop that's still frozen. Season with pepper and let it cook for 3.5 to 4 minutes. And there's still quite a bit of moisture, but not nearly as much coming out as there was in the one that was thawed. After 3.5 minutes, give it a flip. And as you can see, without all that moisture escaping, it browned a little bit better. And once again, season with pepper and let it go for 3.5 more minutes, and then clean the pan once again. Now I'm going to cook the third and final frozen chop, just like I did the very first one that was thawed. And I'm going to speed things up just a little bit so you don't have to watch it again. After cooking for 2.5 minutes per side, I'm going to add some barbecue sauce. Smear it around, flip the chop over, and repeat the same process. And then let it cook for 1 more minute per side. And now for the much anticipated taste test. This is the chop that was thawed. And I used nothing but the best dishes for dollar store pork chops. Dollar store styrofoam plates. This one seems relatively tender when I'm cutting it, especially with a dull knife. It looks and smells like a pork chop. Now let's see if it tastes like a pork chop. It's fairly tender, not melt in your mouth tender, and it's fairly moist. But it has a very distinctive flavor. It's not a great flavor, but it's not really a bad flavor either. It's hard to describe, but if I had to describe it, I would say it's like an old taste. And now to the pork chop that I cooked while it was frozen. And it definitely looks better and has more moisture, but I immediately noticed the texture is different and it seems very tough. It's definitely juicier than the first one and tougher than the first one, but it tastes a lot better. So I guess maybe they did mean to cook it from a frozen state where it said to keep frozen. And now for the third and final chop that was cooked frozen with barbecue sauce. When cutting this one, it seemed a lot more tender than the first two. And it looks pretty good too, but the most important thing is the taste test. This one's pretty good. It's moist, tender, and has a good flavor from the barbecue sauce and the pork fat. This was the best one out of all three. The first pork chop that I cooked was thawed. It was fairly tender, but it wasn't very moist, and the flavor was off. The second one was frozen, and it was pretty moist, had a good flavor, but it was tough. This last one was the best out of all three. It was moist, fairly tender, and it had a good flavor. None of them were great, but they were all edible. I was actually very surprised with the quality and taste of these compared to the ribeyes. But that doesn't mean I would recommend you buy them or buy them again myself. These are still highly processed and not good for us, especially if you eat them often. If it seems too good to be true, it's probably not true, and you get what you pay for when you pay $1 for a pork chop. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you do not give these a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.